first question is going to come from James Palmer.
Bruce, curious, when you guys watch Gronk's film from before he retired, and then you look at the way he's moving out in camp, what is the similarities, differences? How do you see him moving compared to when he last played, now that you have some days under your belt?
No similarities at all. You know, it looks like he was 5 or 6 years ago before all the injuries, and, you know, the back surgeries have healed. So he had a year of healing. He looks to me like he was 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay, next up is going to be Greg Almond.
Hey, Bruce, I know you've talked about there being a fine line in terms of physicality and what you want versus what you don't want in practice. We saw TJ Logan go down. Just want to see how hard it is to have the right level of hitting and when, you know, you don't have games like this.
Yeah, when we're in a non-tackling period, I don't want any tackling. And when we're tackling, we tackle. But the last thing you do is grab a jersey. You know, I can see you on film if you'd have made the tackle or not. So we'll see how that goes, how it plays out. But there's a certain practice etiquette you have to follow, and young guys have a struggle with that.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, next is Ed Encina.
Bruce, I know you talked a lot about TJ and everything he brings. I mean, how tough was that to see him go down like that?
Real hard. You never want to see a player down. You know, especially a guy that's having a camp as good as he was having. So we'll wait and see what's happening with it. And still too early to tell, but we'll wait and see.
Okay, next is going to be Rick Stroud.
Hey, Coach, when you think about the tight end room, you got a lot of them, obviously, and Gronk in particular. How will you gauge, like, how much is he going to play? In other words, is he going to play as much as a load as he thinks he can handle? Will you try to get him through 16 games and manage that a bit, or what's your plans there, you think?
I'll play every game to win, whatever that takes. You know, we can't worry about December and September. And
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the load, we've got a lot of guys. We can manage that as far as every game, but, you know, we're going to play every single game to win. So if that means he plays 50 plays or 30 plays, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, next is going to be Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, what specifically about Gronk stands out to you that reminds you of the way he played 5 years ago? Like, is it just the way he's moving? Is it more natural? Is he lighter on his feet? What jumps out to you?
All the above, and he doesn't have a gigantic elbow brace on. But yeah, he's moving. He's running fast again. He's got great body control. Some of the things, the stiffness I saw at the end of his career with all the injuries, looks like it's gone.
And what can you guys do, because he's had so many injuries, what can you guys do with your sports science staff to ensure that, you know, he's able to recover properly after games and he doesn't fall into some of the same issues that he ran into before, and also being an older player?
That part's easy. I mean, all those have healed. Right now it's just hydration, keeping your body in great shape, and he is in great shape. And so it's nothing to do with those past injuries as far as sports science. It's just it's muscle injuries and things like that we can prevent, but football's football.
Okay, next is going to be Tom Krasnicki.
Hi, Bruce. Good morning. My question was about Vita Vea and your impressions of him early in camp. And in terms of the club that he's wearing on his hand, do you anticipate him wearing that club into the regular season?
I think he's having a hell of a camp. I mean, he's a load in the middle, and he can run and chase. No, that thing will come off. It's just protective right now. It'll come off soon.
All right, next we're going to go to Greg Almond.
Coach, I just want to ask you if you knew when you might start bringing officials in to be able to throw flags and call penalties and that kind of thing.
Well, we'd have to take 7 people off of Tier 2 to get them out there on the field, and they'd have to get tested every single day. So that's one of the operational problems. Hopefully we will have some NFL people when we scrimmage and get some people in here. But, you know, getting them on Tier 2 is tough to do.
All right, next we're going to go to Ed Encina.
Bruce, getting a rookie like Tyler Johnson back on the field, what have you seen from him, and how much has he missed from not being on the field?
Well, he made a nice play today on a route, inside out route, and it's hard to say because first day I've seen him, and he's missed a ton. You throw back all the spring and almost all the camp, he's light years behind.
All right, next thing will be Rick Stroud.
Bruce, when you look at the safety position, I mean, you got young guys there, obviously, a bunch that have played a lot of football. When you look at Mike Edwards and Whitehead, how have they progressed? And is there a scenario where Winfield can be on the field with those guys as well?
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's a player that could be dime, nickel, back end safety. His versatility allows him to be with any group of guys we want out there, whether it's three corners,
Right.
three safeties, whatever the package we want to put in, he can be in there. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go.
And what
Luke Sterling. Sorry, Rick. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, like, Whitehead put on some weight. What have you seen with the progression of those two young safeties that played a lot of football for you?
Yeah, I mean, Jerome looks good. I mean, he's playing the pass better. He's a little bit stronger at the point. He's going to throw his face in the fan. That's, ain't no question about that. So the weight should help him there. I like Mike's progress. He's getting his hands on balls, breaking on balls, getting out of center field, covering a lot of ground. So and he's doing a better job tackling when we're tackling.
Okay, we're gonna go over to Luke Easterling.
Bruce, when you guys added Rob Gronkowski in the offseason, I think some people may have expected you guys to make a corresponding move, but you really have such a deep group in keeping everybody there. Can you just talk about some of the benefits of having so many different skill sets and guys that, you may be able to keep them fresher because you have, 3 or 4 starting caliber guys that all do different things very well?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things as far as keeping guys fresh and utilizing each skill set as much as we can and finding matchups for each one of them in a game plan. So, it's a fun toy to have.
And then to kind of branch that out to the wide receivers as well, you have so many mouths to feed in this offense. You do throw the ball a good bit, but how much does it matter the personality of those guys, Mike and Chris, and the fact that they're so much more focused on the team goal than necessarily their own numbers? Yeah,
you can't say enough about those guys. Selflessness is a huge, huge thing when you come to offensive players. There's only one ball, and not everybody's going to get to. Somebody's going to have their lip poked out on Monday, but because nobody's going to get enough of them. But this group is selfless, and can't say enough about their personalities that way.
All right, next is going to be Steve Isbitz.
Coach, can you talk about what you're seeing from Keyshawn Vaughn, including what he looks like and his abilities on special teams?
He's learning the ropes. He hasn't played much special teams, but he's tough. He can run. His pass protections, he's learning a little bit about the size of these guys coming, and he's got great vision as a runner. That part of it's not. There's no problem. It's the rest of the playing football at this level he's catching up to.
And you mentioned those games yesterday at the stadium, those practice games. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about what they'll actually look like? Are you going to play a half or that kind of thing?
Have what?
The games at the stadium that you're planning.
Right, scrimmages?
Yeah.
Yeah, the scoreboards will be on. We'll do all that kind of stuff, instant replay. Make sure the stadium's operational for the first home game and get a good scrimmage in. Live kicking, offense versus defense, everything. Kind of like we just did the last 20 plays of practice. We'll do a full game worth.
Thanks.
All right. Next question is going to come from Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, what effect would you say Brady's presence has had on O.J. Howard specifically, Bruce, in raising his accountability level and just sort of reviving O.J. Howard with all his physical skills?
Yeah, I don't. O.J.'s always been accountable. I don't think that's ever been a problem. He's just growing as a player. And Tom, I think when you have one of the best ever play help you become a better player, you listen. And sometimes those voices are better than coaches' voices. And that work they put together out at Berkeley was huge for both of them. And I think O.J. is playing at an extremely high level right now and would not expect to see any kind of drop-off, only continued growth.
All right, we have time for one more. We're going to go to Eric Wilson.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this. So I wanted to ask you with regards to, certain teams creating their bubble, how much of an impact is that going to be with you guys? Are you going to create your own type of bubble with the team?
And we already have. I mean, we've got a hotel that's quarantined that they can stay at. They can stay at their house. I think the biggest thing is if you have children, they start going to school, making sure the testing every day is still good. So everything we're doing will be quarantined on the road. So I mean, I don't know what else you can do as a bubble.
All right, that's all for today, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.